We have just heard, and we're going to go back to rallying again. I know there's been a lot of rallying today, but we have just heard we may have an incredible opportunity to have a telephone interview. Just explain a little bit more. If it comes off technically, it should be okay.
Okay. I say it's a risky business, but one of the drivers who's going to contribute regularly on Ribble FM 106.7, getting used to saying that, is Chris Ingram. He's a young lad that I've been helping mentor and working with on his social media side for a couple of years now. He's come from the junior level. His dad's a very famous, good rally driver. His father is a competitor in road rallies, has competed in this area for many years. In fact, Chris's mum and dad owned a few Costa Coffees franchise.
Oh, they had the one in Clitheroe for a while, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and they started that. So they've got a fond memory of the Clitheroe area. And because, as we know, there's the best rallying roads in the world are in the Ribble Valley, and Troffer Bowland and Longridge Fell and all those places are very much where Chris will have grown up as a young lad watching his father compete. They're based in Manchester now, and Chris has actually started. It's a massive part for Chris in this European Championship that he's taken up. It is a European Championship for rallying. It takes place throughout Europe in many different countries, but the start of the championship this year is in the Azores, which is a volcanic island near Portugal, and it's a beautiful place. Chris has gone out 2 days ago and has been qualifying, competing for the last 3 days in the rally, and he's driving a new car, a Skoda R5 car, which is a bit like a World Rally car, special car, four-wheel drive, turbo car, really powerful car, big budget. It
looks awesome.
Big budget championship. This he's stepped up from European number one and champion junior driver. He's still actually a junior because he's only 22 years old, but he's competing very much with the full-on adults in the best cars that money can buy at the European Championship level. So
we might have a chance, if everything goes to plan, we can speak to him live in the Azores.
That's it, and the rally's finished, so the actual competition's finished, and we're red hot off the result. I don't want to give the game away just yet. I can tell you he's finished the rally, which is a major achievement. He's won his class there before. If he finishes inside the top 10, that would be an amazing achievement. And we're going to ring him live and see how he's done.
Fantastic. We'll try that after this.
On air, online and on your smartphone app. 106.7 Ribble FM.
Yes, it is. It's Ribble FM 106.7 with the new Sunday driver. Our main host, Kev Furber, has managed to pull off the coup, and live on the telephone now, all the way from the Azores, is our very distinguished guest this morning, Chris Ingram. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, Chris.
Morning, how are you?
We're very well. More importantly, how are you, and how are you feeling after the win?
Amazing, yeah. It's just absolutely awesome week. My debut in a four-wheel drive rally car here, the first round of the European Championship. And to win the under-28s, it's a dream come true.
That's fantastic. Now, just to put this in perspective, tell me where you are. Describe where you are at the moment.
I'm in the Azores. Many people don't actually have a clue where it is. It's basically bang in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, off Portugal. It's a Portuguese island, so it's really far out, and I think it takes 4 days for the rally cars to get here by boat, and it's a 2.5 hour flight from Portugal, so in the middle of nowhere, basically.
And you told me earlier you're in the hotel room now, which is probably nice because you've won, but what a come down, because you've had a fantastic 3 days, which must have been absolutely electric. So tell me some of the highlights.
Yeah, to be honest, all week's been unbelievable. This place comes alive for the rally, and all the locals absolutely love it. Starts with the city stage on Wednesday, and I think it's about 50,000 people watching. But basically, when we come here, I've been here for the last 5 years, and it's like being a celebrity. You can't walk down the street without people asking for a picture with you. It's mad. So it's like a different world, but a lot of fun, a lot of hard work, and now I'm just relaxing today. I'm knackered, to be honest.
We'll come back to the motorsport result, but also something that's fascinating to anybody that looks on your social media profile by searching Chris Ingram Rallying and has a look at what you're up to, because you've got the coolest sponsor in motorsport at the minute. It's a fashion brand, it's a clothing brand. Tell me a little bit about your sponsor.
Yeah, 11 Degrees. It's a new menswear company. They've only been going a few years, but really lucky to have agreed title sponsorship with them, and it's such a cool brand to have on board. Gaz from Geordie Shore, he's a really well-known guy. He's got millions of followers. He's one of the partners setting it up, so it's growing massively, and to have them on board is really cool. It suits me, so it's really good for the future as well.
Yeah, really good for the future of rallying generally, because it is a cool brand to be involved with. And for your launch of the car, you've got some really trendy videos up there. And actually, the vehicle launch itself took place in JD Sports, of all places.
Yeah, exactly. Did it a bit differently, but it was really cool to unveil the car in front of the public and bring rally into the public as well, which doesn't really happen these days.
No, and that's great. So back onto the serious stuff, the actual performance. It's a fast car. You've very little seat time behind the wheel with this car. You come from a two-wheel drive Vauxhall Adam, and you won the European Junior title with that car with your backers Network Q and Opel. But you're back doing it now, fighting at the very pinnacle of the European Championship. So you're right up there. If you manage to get inside the top 10, that would be amazing. So where were you running? What sort of performance did you put in?
We were fighting in the top 5 consistently, and we ended up 4th, just really close to a podium. So I'm a bit disappointed not to be on the podium, because that would have been unbelievable, but gotta be happy with 4th overall out of 40 R5 cars which started, which is a record in that class, with the top class of European rallying. So it's a dream debut, definitely, Kev.
Yeah, and as far as the win's concerned, you've obviously I say obviously, let's tell the listeners, the category that's going to pay you the most amount of money if you win the category, the one that you're really aiming for. How did you go on with that?
Yeah, so as well as the overall championship, there's the under-28 category. So basically all the 3 guys ahead of me were over 28. They're, some of the best drivers in Europe, most experienced. But we won the under-28s, and the prize for that at the end of the year is €100,000. So that's my big aim for this season.
And to put that in perspective, you know how that feels, Chris, because you won £100,000 in prize money last year, which has helped you get this opportunity with the Top Sport team and driving the Skoda. Tell me a little bit about that. How was the new team? Because that's what listeners have got to put in perspective. European Championship, how on earth do you get a car and a team, your co-driver, because there's 2 people in the car? How do you get all that logistically to a little island in the middle of the sea somewhere?
Yeah, it's Top Sport, the base in Germany. It's a massive setup. They're they've been they're doing all sorts of championships, not just in rally and circuit racing, all over the world. So logistically, they've got it all sorted. So that gives me the chance to basically just arrive and drive, which is what you need to do at this level. You need to focus as much as possible on the driving. But for me, I've got to focus a lot on the PR things, of the PR side of things as well. That's how I get the money to go rallying.
That is, like you say, compliments to you, because to pull off, and you and your management team, to pull off a sponsorship deal with a clothing manufacturer, I don't mind saying, Chris, you're a good-looking young lad, and you deserve that opportunity. And like you say, it's a big part of what you do, and all professional drivers now need to understand that. So anybody listening to motorsport, wishing to take up the sport, they know it's all about social media and what you can pull off as far as giving a return to your sponsors. Is there any other sponsors that you'd like to give a shout out to? Maybe your dad?
Car Finance 24/7 in Manchester. They've just agreed another year with me, so I'm really thankful to those guys. And Andrew Sykes, Andrew's Heat Hire, the iconic rally sponsor, which motorsport fans will remember. They're back on board for the 3rd year, so I wouldn't be here without those guys.
Great, that's fantastic. We're going to contribute, or I'm going to ask you to contribute throughout the year. Every success, let's make sure you win and bring that title back to England. A final thing, Chris, we're in Clitheroe, just as a reminder, and you have an involvement with Clitheroe with the Costa Coffee. Did you ever pop into that place for a coffee?
I worked there a few days, actually.
Did you? Well, that's where we are now. We're in within the shadows of the castle, let's say. So we're thinking of you. Enjoy yourself out there. Thanks for taking the call, Chris. I appreciate it's really early for you. Well done, champion.
Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it.